Are you one of those Reiki people out there who find life's just a little bit of a blur? Everything's going really quickly. You never seem to have any time. You never seem to absorb anything. And you just kind of think like, man, where are the days going? It's just one day after another, just tip tapping into the next one. You want to do so much, but you never seem to have the time to do it. A couple of things come to mind. Procrastination is one. That's a big one, isn't it? That often gets us. Um, but one thing I've learned from my Reiki practice, and hopefully maybe it's also we forget this, even though we are Reiki practitioners, if we can blend that very effective tool into our daily lives, we're going somewhere. And let me just try and remember. Oh, yes, yes. Where is it? I have my trusty little board here to help us remember. Reiki mindfulness. It's such a long word, I had to put it on the next line. These things, it just would not fit in there. But mindfulness, guys and girls, is so important because, especially if you are a Reiki practitioner, if we can start being mindful when we're doing our treatments and on ourselves, of course, but in life in general, it's just going to enhance our experience and it will certainly help you with those moments that just seem to run away from themselves. You kind of like get into the moment of actually being there, being present. I don't, it's a cliche, isn't it? We're always hearing about like, oh, we need to be present, and no one really gets what that is. For all we know, that might be about giving someone a birthday card, or we're not talking about that present. It's being present in the current moment, and none of us are we? We're always thinking ahead. What am I doing later on? What I've got for dinner tonight? I've got someone coming round for a few drinks tonight. Got to make sure I get the place ready. So all the time you're thinking ahead. Whereas we ought to be here. You hear about someone coming later, you just read about it. You're not there, you're not meeting them yet. You're here. You're sort of like mentally thinking, what am I actually doing in this present moment? I'm actually reading about that person that's coming later on. That's important. That's fine. But it's what we do with ourselves, with that energy, and being aware of kind of like where our mind is really at. So I want to give us little ways for us to practice this. The fourth one's my favorite one. So stick around for the fourth one because you might find that really kind of like bites the bonnet, so to speak. It kind of resonates with you. It does with me because it's something I do quite often. But I'll start with number one, reading a book. Now, how many of us get a book like this? I use this little booklet, and we kind of do this, don't we? We're reading a page, so let me just find a particular page in general. Let's go to page 19 or 20. So I'll find a book, and I kind of do this. I go speed reading. It's great, it's good, but we're not taking in what's there in front of us, are we? We are skimming. And don't get me wrong, I've done this so many times. I mean, I'm sure some of you are out there probably like Game of Thrones. I do. And when I was reading it, because it was so good, I wanted to just get on. Come on, come on, come on, let's crack on. And bless him, George R. R. Martin, he puts a lot of detail, a lot of stuff in there. And I'll be honest with you, I'm just scanning through it because I want to get to the bits of the action. Now, just remember, George Martin's put a lot of work in there. And he's probably thinking when you tell him, you just say to him, oh, I've read your book, and he'll tell you about the backstory, and you can't remember it. And you're thinking, why do I bother? Because that all creates the world, doesn't it? So let me give you an example. So I have this story in here called Identity Crisis, and I wrote this, yes, a good while ago. But I could read skimming is like this. The Grand Wizard shook his head. Sorry, you don't qualify. What do you mean I don't? I want my free copy of the Trees of Tremere. So I can't even talk that fast. Only imps are eligible. I'm afraid you're a goblin. I spent over 2 hours, and so on and so on and so on. Well, let's be a bit mindful. The Grand Wizard shook his head. So we think of ourselves as the Grand Wizard. Picture yourself there. You're doing that now. See that Grand Wizard shaking his head, and suddenly you kind of got And we're formulating the story, aren't we? We're making the picture ourselves. Sorry, you don't qualify. And straight away, there are words coming from, you imagine that Grand Wizard is talking. What does he mean? You don't qualify. So again, your mind is working. It's expanding. It's thinking, don't qualify for what exactly? Is there some spell he's casting correctly, or is his studies not up to scratch? Maybe it's like a Hogwarts story. It's not, by the way, but it could be that. And then the next words are, what do you mean? I want my free copies of the Tribes of Temeria, or Demeria, sorry. And straight away, that's a curveball, isn't it? So now we're thinking like, huh? What do you mean? Yeah, what does that mean? What's this free copy of Tribes of Demeria? Is this some sort of song? Is this wizard making music? You know, you see all these kind of things are going around in our head. And then I'm just going to stop at the last. I'm not going to, obviously not going to read the whole story. Only imps are eligible. I'm afraid you're a goblin. So straight away we're getting things. Now we spin right around, and you start thinking, what the hell is an orc or a goblin doing talking to a wizard? If it's Gandalf, we would have fried him by now with a firebolt or something. But you see there, when we take our time, we actually start absorbing a little bit more. We start painting the picture around. We can work with the author because we are actually reading. We're not skimming. There's a big difference between skimming and reading. And believe you me, I have been a skimmer for most of my life, if I'm honest with you. But I'm trying myself now, being mindful of actually taking it in, and you start absorbing a hell of a lot more. And I'm sure some of you out there are reading and say, well, that's actually what I do, Gary. I take my hat off to you. Kudos for you and respect, because not all of us do. Now, before I go on to my next one, I'm just going to give a little quick cheeky shout out to those who've actually commented on my videos. So, Rosania, Michael, huge shout out and respect to you for taking the time, and also Slice Nation, who like my accent, he found it quite amusing. So, you know, it's the old Cockney accent, and probably out in the States thinking, hey man, that's a cute accent, man. So I hope you're still here, Slice Nation, because there'll be plenty more of this old spiel coming your way, my friend. And I looked at your videos too. Nice moves on the old box in front there. But anyway, I digress. So the second point I'm going to come to now is going for a walk. Now, I'm talking about walking and absorbing everything in, because how many of us will go somewhere and go off to the supermarket or whatever. We march back again, and we're dashing around here, there, and everywhere. See, this is the mad hamster routine, as I call it. We're not actually paying attention, are we? We're just going here, there, and everywhere. And it is a challenge because something probably not most of us are used to. But as you go out, try to start looking around and really feel the air around you. And evoke the senses. This is a good way to be mindful. Evoke the senses. What's it smell like out there? Is there a car exhaust fume breathing in, or is it a nice, beautiful, fresh day? Nice smell of flowers you might be picking up. What can you hear? Hear the birdsong flying out in the background. Again, it could be a car or a lorry going across. Could be people talking in the corner about something. Maybe they're talking about you. Gary, we're not doing creative writing. Stop right there. Sorry. Um, but you see how we start evoking the sense. What can you see? Um, 'Cause we can do this stuff. We kind of go into this tunnel vision. We can't see out here. We're literally just thinking, I'm looking at the end of the road, getting to the store as quick as I can. Bang, 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 bang. As opposed to looking around and seeing, like, oh, I'm looking at the house over there. Then there's some. Oh, I've not seen that person before. I've not seen that car before. I've never noticed that before. And you're looking as you walk down the road, and you see like there's a bag on the side. You think, well, what's in that bag? Is that rubbish? Or maybe someone's just forgotten their washing or something, or their shopping, sorry. And you keep walking, and suddenly you notice someone, oh, and they give you a wave. Where you haven't waved before, you're kind of just like making your presence felt. Otherwise, you might seem rude because you're so tunnel vision, you're not looking at that person. And I've done that. I've literally driven past someone on my left hand side where I've been so tunnel vision, I've got to get here. I didn't even see them. This is where the mindfulness would stop that happening. Well, certainly may not stop it happening, but certainly makes you more aware of your surroundings. So really work on the mindfulness. Now, the third one is going to make a few of you go, huh? Um, Housework. And you're thinking, housework? Oh my God, Gary, you crazy. I can't stand it. It drives me mad. But, and this really comes from old mindful practitioners, because one of them said, I think it's Thich Nhat. Forgive me, I know that's probably not how you say it at all, but he's hugely well known in the mindfulness field. And one of the things in my Reiki book was he was talking about washing the dishes. I said, how can you take pleasure of washing the dishes? And he's saying, well, I'm feeling the water cascade down my arms. Um, I'm also know that as I clean off the dirt or the grime off the plates, that allows me then to eat later off a clean plate, and I'm just expressing the gratitude for it. I'm hearing the sounds of the water fall back into the bowl, and all these kind of things are going through our heads. So imagine when you're doing the ironing, start thinking while you're ironing, saying, "Well, I'm actually doing this. I've got nice clothes for later, and I'm really thankful for that. I'm thankful for the chance that I have got the possibility of doing it." um, Sort of like again washing up, a bit like as I was explaining earlier. I'm washing all this cutlery and the cups up, so I've got nice crockery, nice silverware to work with, or just nice sort of like cup to drink out, a nice glass that I can look at, looks nice and shiny, shiny. Cleaning your car, sorry, oh God, I've got to clean the car. But when you're doing it, just get to the moment of doing it and just see the dirt just peeling off and thinking, oh wow, I'm doing this. So, how weird is that? I'm looking out the window, I've just seen a heron come across. That is the weirdest thing ever. How cool is that? So clearly the heron's sending a signal here. So forgive me as I do a little bit of a reading for us all there. So the heron is about expansion for me of like looking from afar, looking with eyes and kind of like looking for possibilities you haven't seen before. I was not expecting that. If I wasn't mindful, I wouldn't have seen that, would I? And the heron has flown off. But so there we go. Unexpected, but I do this on the fly, and that's how it should be. But again, as we get back into the mindfulness aspect of actually kind of like taking the pleasure of doing the little things. Because if you can do the little things well and enjoy doing it, it makes us really appreciate the big things too. Lots of little things make a massive thing. So don't think that it has to be a massive, great big step right to the top of the mountain. It's all about those little steps and know the progress is happening. And just like that heron, you can get to the top of that mountain with ease once you kind of put those steps in. So that's really what I'm getting for housework. Now the fourth one, before I go on, if you're enjoying the content of the videos of mine, and please do consider liking and commenting and subscribing. It really does help. It does help me build the channel and gets more like-minded people. It just sends the right signals to the algorithm of YouTube, so more people will come on side. So if you're liking it, please do like, comment, and subscribe. And I will try and these nascent days as I build this channel, I will always respond to the comments um, where I can. As long as you're nice, of course. Even if you're not, I might. But there we go. And that is my little request for you. Really do appreciate it. Now, the fourth one is driving. Driving in your little car and taking notice of all around you. And it was my uncle years ago was taught, pretty much helped me really learn to drive, got me through my test, and taught me observation. Um, and again, it's just something the advanced drivers do. It is almost like this is so not only going to give you a little sort of like talk about mindfulness here, but give you a little tip on how to improve your driving. As you're driving along, kind of imagine this is bouncing ball. It bounces in front of you, so you look in front of you, look maybe a few hundred yards up the road, and then look way off in the distance, and then back, boing, 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 and back in your mirrors. What that was teaching me, as I didn't know that then, what that was teaching me was awareness, mindfulness on a huge scale. So you'll look in the distance, you'll see like a signpost, it's like a crossroads sign. Bang, you process that. You look further on in the distance, you see like, see a lorry coming towards you. You think, oh, I've processed, I'm aware of that. You look at the front of your car and you might just see like a little pothole there. Oh, I'm aware of that. Look in your mirror and you see like a motorbike speeding up behind you. So your mind is processing all these things. It's aware. Um, these are little tips we can do, and you can have fun. So as you're driving along, you might say, "Oh, especially if you're doing the same route every day, see what new things you pick up. Maybe that house on the corner there is called Laurel Lodge. You never noticed before. You thought, oh, Laurel Lodge. I've been driving past that all that time, and you think, is that signpost new? I never noticed that before. Probably been there all the time, but you've just been oblivious. And these are little things we can do as we go along, and it should improve your driving a little bit, make you a little bit more aware of potential hazards. As you're mindful, you kind of like you look in the distance, I see a child up there near the crossing. So your sixth sense is already preparing for just in case there's a sort of like unfortunate episode of that child running out in front of you. But if you're mindful, you're almost semi-prepared for that. These little tips and tricks do make a big difference. And they make a big difference to your life, but also in your Reiki practice as well. The fifth one I'm going to come to is meditation. Meditation will certainly assist in your mindfulness if you could just take yourself inward. Because most meditation, let's be honest, it's all mostly about just focusing on the breath, isn't it? Just focusing on the breath and just being aware of that space. The thoughts will come in, you'll dismiss it. And when you're in that meditative state, you are pretty much present. That is it in a nutshell. Meditation is just being present. So, and I don't want you to think about doing it right or wrong. Just what does being present mean to you? Being in your own space, being in a place that you enjoy, and appreciative of sort of like life, your life, what you've done, what you're going to do, what you've achieved, but right now, what you're doing in that present time, which will be meditating. So these are little kind of like practices we can all do, and it will help augment your Reiki. Because if we can be really present when we're doing a Reiki, we're doing ourselves a big favor, and of course our client a big favor. Um, because and then we'll notice little nuances. Because our mind's not thinking about what I'm having for dinner tonight. My mind's not thinking about what did Joe Francis do on the football field last night. It's irrelevant. It's not that's about all that I'm doing. So I'm being present in this time, feeling the energy coming through myself from my client and where that energy needs to go. And there you'll start possibly, if you're really present, you'll start picking up little things as well, possibly. Not all of us do, so don't panic if you're a Reiki practitioner and you're thinking, I don't get any of that. It's perfectly fine. We are all different, and we all have our own different skill sets, and we know that we're coming from a good place. So bear that in mind as you go into your mindfulness practice. So remember, everyone, be mindful, enjoy life, and just enjoy your day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will catch you on the next video. Bye bye.